So the first ever 3D Mario game to be invented is of course that wonderful, wonderful Mario 64, which blessed all 3 dimensions that we occupy. Now you probably think that it might be difficult to convert such a plot-heavy game such as the 2D Mario and get it into that 3rd dimension, while also hanging on to all that plot and lore that's been established in the previous Mario games. Somehow though, the geniuses over at Nintendo have managed to pull off this incredible feat with this great game. You see, Mario's been invited for some cake by the princess, and you might be thinking that that's not a great reason to travel via sewer pipe all the way for some cake, but let's be honest, if royalty invited you over for some cake over in their castle, you would probably say yes just as quickly as you do to all those sweet Nigerian princes that offer you all of their wealth for just some measly banking information. Unfortunately though, once Mario gets that big old castle, he learns that the princess has been kidnapped, and in logical fashion, Mario has to jump into magical paintings to get some stars to open doors so that he can go into other paintings and open more doors, and so on and so forth. Mario travels to such interesting places such as a battlefield right in the middle of a race war between pink bombs and black bombs who shoot bubbles out of cannons at each other, and they also commit suicide to kill anyone who gets near them like any bomb would. He also visits a watery world where Mario disrupts a perfectly good ecosystem by going underwater and bugging some eels so that he can steal their only possessions, being some nice shiny stars that he wants. Mario also ends up in a snowy place where he races penguins like anyone would if they ever met a penguin near a giant slide. There's also a few less interesting places such as a floating tower, a haunted mansion, and some kind of active volcano that, like any sane person, Mario decides to just jump straight into to see what's in there. Now while running around all these colorful and nice worlds, Mario does pick up some of these stars as mentioned before, and he'll use those stars to get into other places, and this all sounds pretty harmless so far to you guys, but using my keen eye as a mother, while playing this game I managed to crack a secret code, which shows that this is not such an innocent game as it might seem with this friendly little plumber. See, deep in this game is actually subliminal messages about sex and drugs, and if you don't believe me, I'm gonna explain it to you and blow your minds about this game, which is now actually old enough to drink. So firstly, it has to do with a letter from the princess. You see, we never get to see any of that cake that's been promised, and according to the internet, cake can also mean a woman's behind, so Mario is really just there for a booty call, and there was never any delicious cake. Unless, of course, you are into doing something as disgusting as eating a woman's buttocks. Next up is the theme of the Devil's Lettuce, which is scattered all throughout this game, such as the green fields outside of the castle, which coincidentally is green, just like that smokable broccoli out there. Not to mention that the plants growing in that field are called grass, which is also a term for weed. And also, the trees look just like the plant the Wacky Tabaki grows on if you've never seen that plant before and you only had a rough idea of what it might look like based on maybe some brief descriptions you've heard in the past. One of the most blatant hidden messages about the Devil's Asparagus is, of course, Bowser himself, who has a ton of green on him. And who else is green? Why, it's that big strong man from the Avengers. Of course, I'm talking about the Incredible Hulk. And what does the Incredible Hulk do to turn back into Puny Banner? Well, he has to calm down. And how do stoners calm down? Well, they smoke it up. Is that a coincidence? I don't think so. Am I overstretching? Probably not. This all sounds pretty logical to me so far. Sadly though, in today's crazy society, it's impossible to shield our children from all this horrible stuff such as drugs and sex. But we can always rejoice with good Catholic games that do come out every so often, such as Saints Row, which although I've never played it, I can only assume it's a game about a bunch of saints rowing a boat down a stream of friendship so that they can raise money to build a church in a small country that doesn't yet know about Jesus. So there's the end of another video, and I want to thank you for watching it this far along. If you enjoyed it, feel free to leave it a like, and if not, feel free to dislike. You can comment, you can share, you can subscribe. Remember that 1 like equals 1 I love you baby Jesus, and if you ignore it, then you don't love the baby Jesus, and who doesn't love the baby Jesus? But at the end of the day, you can do whatever you want, and I'm not your boss, so feel free to not love the baby Jesus and go about your day.